What up guys, getting back into doing some more Q&A videos for this channel because I get a lot of different questions about a lot of different things and I've got a lot of things to say on those questions I get. So this question comes by way of Instagram. If you have a message that you want to send me in hopes I do a video on it, that's probably the easiest way to do so. So I'll link my Instagram down below, or you can just find it, JAY-Sather, @JSather. And this question says, will you do a video on YouTube about some of your favorite supplements and or ones that I highly recommend? Totally. Great question. So if you're unfamiliar with my background, before I got into my internet activism work, I used to work in the healthcare field, and a few of the jobs that I held were at nutrition and supplement stores. I managed one for a little bit there, so I have quite the expertise in nutrition and supplementation. And quite frankly, I don't take nearly as many supplements as I used to, especially capsules, things in pills. And the reason I don't take quite as many capsules as I used to is because most of the ingredients that are put into the majority of supplements these days, and not only supplements, but the ingredients put into a bunch of our food itself these days, is fake. They're chemical compounds that are artificially made that your body can hardly absorb a lick of, let alone utilize, okay? So, for example, go to the store, any big box store, you take a common supplement on the shelf, you look at the label, what you'll see is a bunch of vitamins. It'll say, oh, it's vitamin A, B, C, D, E, and you go into the minerals. But on the ingredient label, you'll see all these parentheses after the vitamin A, B, C, etc. And it'll say, as funny chemical name, as funny chemical name. Common example, vitamin C. In parentheses, you'll usually see it as ascorbic acid, right? So what these companies are basically doing is, it's actually mislabeling in a way. It's kind of misadvertisement to the consumer, because these chemical isolates, they're isolates, synthetic compounds, they are not actually vitamins. You see, a vitamin is not one chemical compound. A vitamin is it's like a puzzle. It's a matrix, right? There's a lot of different enzymes and coenzymes and cofactors and compounds that go into making a vitamin in the body, okay? And these companies will extract one chemical compound that looks molecularly similar to the vitamin, but it's not actually it. But since it's so cheap and there's no actual labeling or standards that go behind vitamin production, they can put it on a label and say, hey, it's vitamin C, and then pump it up in there that, hey, there's 1,000 milligrams of this ascorbic acid. It's however many thousands of percent of your daily value that you need, and then people feel really good about taking it, right? Little do they know, they're pissing it all out. So that's the reason I don't take too many supplements and capsules, things like that these days, is because just the majority of them suck. They're all fake. We got fake news, fake food, and fake supplements these days. And fake music. God, everything in this world is fake. Not everything. A lot of good real stuff out there. You just gotta search for it. You gotta search for the real these days. So what I now take instead of what I used to, I'm a big fan of powders, actually. I'm becoming a much bigger fan of taking powdered supplements. So for instance, greens powders, take a lot of those. Whenever I travel, I always have my greens powders, little baggies with me, or just take the container in itself. And that's basically what I use as my multivitamin, my multimineral, enzyme, probiotic. Greens powders are really great because you can get a whole array of different nutrients in one serving. So, like I said, minerals, enzymes, antioxidants, probiotics, enzymes. You can find products that have all of these in there. And not only that, but the nutrients themselves, because greens powders come from food, vegetables and herbs that are dehydrated, freeze-dried, ground up, and put into a powder, there's no synthetics, there's no chemicals in there. Some of them maybe, you got to be a diligent label reader these days, but generally, greens powders and these kinds of whole food powders won't have the synthetics in there. So you want to make sure it's whole food. I like greens powders for that, so I take a lot of those. Of course, you want to make sure it's organic, non-GMO, from a good brand. I'm not going to throw any names out there in this particular video, just being very general about it. And I also take a lot of mushrooms, medicinal mushroom extracts. So there's a lot of different kinds of mushrooms out there. There's the magic ones that can help you enter into some different states of awareness. There's the culinary mushrooms. There's the mushrooms that can get you sick and kill you. And then there's the medicinal ones, the ones that are good for your mind and body. And these ones include chaga, they include reishi. I take a lot of lion's mane and cordyceps. I'm a big fan of medicinal mushrooms because, again, they are whole food. Our bodies, it's actually amazing. We share quite a bit of DNA with the fungi kingdom, up to like 30 to 50% of DNA with the fungus, as opposed to plants and herbs. We share less than 1% of our DNA with plants and herbs. So when it comes to mushrooms, our bodies are very accepting with what they have to offer us. So again, they're very good for so many different things in your body, for your immune system, for your brain, for your lungs, for your heart. Mushrooms are great all around. So that's why I take a lot of those. So I take a lot of greens, a lot of mushrooms, and then just generally, I really go for supplements that try to increase the electricity in my body, increase the capacitance, right? Because we're gonna go big picture here. Talking about the electric universe. The electric universe is an ideology that's often proposed in physics circles for people to understand physics principles. But I like to think of it encompassing everything, not only physics and how our cosmos and greater reality operates, but how our bodies, how our mind-body temples operate as well. Our nervous system, you got to understand, our nervous system is what controls everything in our body. Our nervous system controls our muscular system, our parasympathetic and sympathetic, right? These are avenues of our nervous system, but they control every process in our body. So keeping your nervous system healthy is really the most important thing into having a well-functioning body. So what is your nervous system? Well, that's your electrical pathways in your body. Get more electricity in your body, you're going to have more energy, you're going to be a healthier human being, right? So greens, like I've been saying, greens are an amazing way to influence the electrical capacitance of your body. They flood your body with oxygen. They make you a much more electric, energetic being. I'm also a big fan of ormus, orbitally rearranged monatomic elements. This is a supplement that also helps increase the capacitance of your body, helps make you more electric of a being. So I take a lot of ormus. And then I also take a lot of oxygenation supplements. Like I just mentioned, oxygenating your body will help increase the pH, help increase the electrical levels of your body. So I take a lot of, say, dissolved oxygen drops in my water, things like that. So that is basically a good all-encompassing list of what I normally look for. Lots of greens, lots of whole food stuff. Not that I don't take capsules and pills and things like that anymore, but I want to make sure it's whole food or as pure as possible when I do so. I take a lot of medicinal mushrooms, usually don't travel or go a day without taking those. And then big fan of ormus and big fan of various things to increase the oxygen levels in my body. So thank you for your question. Again, if you have any of them, follow me on Instagram. And that's that. Talk to you guys soon. Done.